How's it, Chief? Yep. This is for my Dragon Rider Padawans. So, let me just give you a rundown of what I do and why I do it. So, I think this one. Okay. So, I usually go for about it's a 50-50 split on whether I go for the tunnel or not. It just really depends on what's around it. So, if there's enough value, obviously go for it. Now, the reason I go with the rocket loons is mostly just to funnel my RC. Number one. Number two, it actually just gets a lot more value out of the rocket. So I wouldn't advise the haste file here. Because what pissed me off so much using this strat in the first place was seeing like I had to use an extra rocket on, let's say, a air defense. So I just chuck one at the air defense, and then she gets to use her rocket spear another time on another defense. The same for like a multi-archer tower. If it gets hit by one stupid little builder, then it stays alive for the next hit, and that is such an opportunity cost to me. It just annoys the hell out of me. So yeah, that's why I went with the rocket loons, and it's been working like a bomb. So I obviously used it. That was a wasted invis, but yeah, just a bog standard invis charge after that. Try to get as much value as humanly possible. There is a way. If you can, I do it quite a lot in Legends, is to, especially where these CCs are like clumped up with everything, if you get the EQ onto that, and you can have your RC basically circle around the CC, you can almost, you do kill the CC, and then you don't even have to deal with the CC ever again. So I'd say that's like 20% of my attacks, so, and that helps a shitload, quite frankly. So yeah, I mess up the minion principality here somewhat, but yeah. For the actually big time, I only got one defense and I guess the minion prince. But anyway, it wasn't really necessary, and I had to walk off soon after this. But yeah, so don't use any other siege other than the stone slammer. It just has the best value. I've tried the blimp, I've tried everything else, the other strats, or these other strats with this, but it just doesn't seem to work out. Stone slammer is there literally just to be a hero killer. It gets the dragons to where they need to be, and then they plop out when a hero inevitably targets them, because the stone slammer seems to stay ahead of the pack, and that just means it will get activated. So you get value for your money. I'd say for the most part, those dragons do end up killing a hero that would probably kill your attack, especially a minion prince. So yeah, stone slammer, just the best. Look, I mean, even if you've killed all the heroes and whatnot, you can still just drop it off wherever you feel like you need clearing. And then, yeah. So, second most important part of this attack, aside from, for the most part, the Dragon Riders and the RC, is actually the minions. So, you need to be very mindful of the minions. This is why I use time fail a lot. But I've gotten better at it. It's just that you need to, like, place them as fast as humanly possible, but also be mindful of defenses. I got a couple killed in the last attack. They are the difference between you time failing and winning an attack. But like, look here. So I know four loons. I used to use 3 at a point, and I was like, okay, 3 is enough to like min-max and get my RC to where I wanted to be. But I just decided, balls to the wall, 6. It works so much better because a lot of the times air defenses are behind like a mortar or something. So if you hit that mortar with 4 rocket loons, they tend to overkill it and then just go straight for the AD. And then you've basically effectively saved yourself 4 rockets, and those four rockets can get your RC a little bit further into somewhere else. So, yeah, it just turbos your RC. So that's why I do it. I never use the rocket loons elsewhere at all. It's the main reason I win most of my attacks. I reckon is just using the RC as effectively as possible, but also mostly just providing like pathing for my Dragon Riders. Which, I mean, at this point are practically flying routes, So, yeah, and then I like to, I'll use the minion prince as soon as possible, because I know that I'm just going to get as much value out of this as, I can just get a whole lot of value out of this. Queen, I tend to go for 2 ADs, but, I mean, if you can get ADs and the sweepers, or at least the opposing sweeper, that is best. So 1 AD, 1 sweeper if it's a problem. And then for the most part, you want to try and use your queen in such a way that it pulls the ice golems, because I mean, there's always an ice golem. Ice golems away from the army. I do sometimes have her like conflict with my attack, just being stupid, like having her basically be behind and then the ice columns get pulled in. But yeah, that's just slowly something that I've been getting rid of. Like having her off to the side is best, but just trying to get as much value out of her as possible is also the next best thing. But she can screw you over with those ice columns, so yeah, just keep that in mind. And yeah, most of this attack went to all hell. I spread the dragons too thin earlier, but then they also get pulled out like on the other side. But yeah, look here, so it's still pretty strong if you do stuff up. I did have I'm kind of annoyed that I didn't do this video earlier because I had quite a few saves, like big time saves when my RC died, and I could still pull off the attack with like 7 invises left. Those are some really good attacks on my part. Do mind my stuff ups today, or at least early today, because I was just trying to survive and get my Clan Games points, 1,500. So I rushed like hell, had like 40 seconds left. Let's just take a random one. I mean, they all tend to be the same. Not really. I mean, there are different protocol when it comes to bases, but like, yeah, it's really spread out. So where would I go for? I think I went for the tunnel here. Yeah, I went for the tunnel right side. That's where I would go at least. Because here I can basically get a lot of value out of my... Oh, okay, I go there somewhere. But I know that I do that, and then boom, I get that... See, that's exactly what I mean with the rocket loons. That's why I use them. Then here, I get 2, I get 1, 2, 3. I know that's going to take 4. It's going to annoy me because I'll have to put 4 into it anyway. But I mean, I saved that from these ones here, so it just gets her much further in. And you can almost like... You can almost guarantee where your RC is going to go with this. So that way... you won't fail the RC. Sometimes I do fail it, but it's mostly because I'm just a greedy bastard. That most happens. We've all been there. We're all there almost every other day. And so yeah, this is just a bog standard RC charge after this. Do I get the CC here? Because then that will... Although, look, that's another thing. Just when you're using... I think I do. I get... The majority of the CC is, I think that obviously 1 is there, but you can see there, like you actually can kill that with an RC and one EQ. And I do it quite regularly where like I kill the CC and then nothing pops out. So keep that in mind, but don't aim for it. It's usually a little boon. And then in those attacks, I tend to my Stone Slammer doesn't even pop open, so you can overkill some bases big time. But yeah, like yeah, I try to use the Warden as late as possible generally. But for the most part, try and save it for the middle of the attack, because a lot of the box bases with those middle compartments, with the rage compartments on either side, they are the bane of my existence. Some of the poison towers too. But yeah, it's mostly those rage ones. But then those rage ones, you just don't you avoid the town hall at all costs, because it's actually quite... It's squishy against this army, unless it's spotted, but usually they aren't with those bases. Just use your RC on those middle compartments to fuck them up, because that tends to be the way I win those bases. The bases that I struggled with the most at the end of Legends was this particular ring base that annoyed the living shit. Yeah, look, I had the Valkyrie. Why do I not have the Valkyrie? Yeah, so time fails is like the only way you really lose with this army. I've maybe had a few in last season. I maybe had like 4 attacks where I didn't time fail, and they were just genuine 2 stars. Oh fuck, this is a tunnel 40. I think okay, lost their legends, because those should be good attacks. Come now, Wi-Fi, you bastards. This is why Starlink's taking over. Come on. Technical difficulties aside, I think if I leave the game, then it corrupts the video, apparently. So thankfully I could uncorrupt it. Now, where is this attack that I wanted to show you? Because the last one I wanted to show you is why I like the EQ spell so much. Look, you can use the ice block. It does work quite well. But at least in I get it, yeah. So at least in regard to survivability, the Dragon Riders are pretty a-okay. There aren't a lot of situations where they're gonna die because of, let's say, you basically putting them through a whole lot of hell, and that's the only reason they beat through hell like that is because you've now not used the minion prince ability correctly, or you stuffed up your warden horribly. But yeah, you shouldn't have any issues. Don't know where I was going with that thought, but anyway. So what I actually wanted to show you here was was the CC, and why I use the the ice block is why I was talking about that. Anyway, so like I said, I'd say 20% is maybe high, but I mean 15%, 20%. Look, on a good day, I can actually get 2. I get 2 bases where I overkill, because I basically invis RC the CC to death with the EQ, because I haven't done it before without the earthquake spell. So yeah, I quite like the flexibility it gives me, especially if you want to go through a compartment like these rage compartments on the sides here. If you wanted to do that on those box bases where it's the center. But yeah, like minion prints early, boom, this whole section is going to get destroyed by the Dragon Riders, and even though there's rage compartment at the end there, well, guess what? I can save my warden ability with Lifter here, with love, because I mean, there's so much health left on these Dragon Riders. It's a non-issue right now. And then yeah, so this gets moitered, and yeah, I'll just talk about the equipment I've got. So obviously rocket spear, that's bog standard. Queen, giant, it tends to work the best. You can go for the healer puppet if you don't have the giant yet. It's not as efficient, but you're just going to have to be a little bit more tactical with her placement to get as much value out of her as possible. So you'd have to keep that in mind. I think the how you would use her in that case is literally just as a way to lure CC troops that your RC is now let loose. So put her somewhere where she will get her 2 air defenses, but she will at least take the ice columns as far away as possible, because I mean, for the most part, there's always an ice column. And then Warden, Healing Tome, the Rage Tome just won't work. They do have a lot of health, but if you place them correctly, they don't need the Rage Gem. They already overkill or kill. They do enough damage that it's the speed at which they kill is not really the issue. You want them to survive for most of the attack, because at the end of the day, they will be at the end of the attack if you've done them correctly. So yeah, don't abuse them with a Rage Vial. And then the Minion Prince, obviously, just the Henchman and the Orb. The Orb is essential. You can go for the Steel Pants, but it doesn't make sense, because if you go for the Steel Pants, you're doing the Orb dirty, and with the Henchman, at least, even if you do it early, I mean, you are missing the heal, but the Henchmen are just an extra bit of clearing, because at the end of the day, you've literally just got, what's between you and a time fail is 6 to 8 minions, depending on your army composition. So I mean, that's completely up to you how many minions you want, but maybe start off with a few more, drop a loon. 5 isn't really completely necessary. Or 4 isn't completely necessary. You can have 3. The 3 is literally just there to test for your Dragon Riders. And they don't really need to have the dragons behind them. Well, not the dragons, but the loons. Look, the army that I adapted this from started with 9 loons, but I've slowly but surely refined it to my taste, at least. I mean, you'll customize it to your own liking. But yeah, is there another attack that I can show before we bounce? I'll take a random one. I'll show this one. A4F. Yep, I showed that one. And anything else? Yeah, so the army is pretty straightforward. Just push your Dragon Riders through the worst situation possible with combined arms, essentially, with the Minion Prince and the Warden. And yeah, Stone Slammer, just the best. I don't know if that was missing in what I said, but yeah, I've tried the Blimp before. I've tried the Siege Barracks, but it just tends to not work out as well as the Stone Slammer. The Stone Slammer is a little taxi minibus for your dragons to get there and just start murring people, okay? And at the same time, if you need any clearing halfway through the base, the other heroes are dead, and you see that minions are going to take a whole lot of time, and you've got a lot of time on the board, you've got a lot less time on the board than you thought, just drop the dragons and they'll start clearing. So, I mean, it gives you flexibility, and it's probably the only army where the Stone Slammer is literally the best thing in the army. Well, not the best thing, but it is the crux of the army. Like, well, not the crux, but like the let's say it's the diff lock, you know? If you get into a real shit situation, well, not the worst situation, but if you get into a shit situation, you got it, you know? It's there. You can do something with it. So, I mean, that's the whole point of the Stone Slammer. Don't use Yetis, don't use all that other cuck. You actually just, you need the Stone Slammer. Trust me, I've gone through a month of time fails. Don't do that to yourself. Yeah, did some irreparable damage. But yeah, anyway, that is about it. Any other further questions, you can ask me in the clan. I am always around, Moss, or just at me in WhatsApp. And yeah, enjoy the Dragon Riders. It's actually pretty fun.